We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Why is the market down? Is it tariffs? Is it quarter end? Is this thing ever going to go up? Does any good news matter? I will answer all these questions. Is the crypto market going to crash? No. Right. Is this the most discouraging crypto market like I can remember in a long time? Like it feels kind of like 2018. 2018 was when Bitcoin just crashed, went to 3K and sat there. And of course, this market's at 85K and we all had high hopes. And now it's kind of a crash in sentiment, although, we know some altcoins have crashed. We'll look at intraday charts. We'll also look at what the news looks like. Like for me, I remember the news at the top, right? It was like, oh my God, ETFs. Oh my God, everyone's going to buy Bitcoin. And now, if you look at it on a day like today, it's kind of like a combination of Doomberg over tariffs. We'll look at that. I did a video like tariffs are the end of crypto. Best video in at least a month. Best non-XRP video in a month. So we're going to sort all this out. We're going to look at what is happening. We're going to look at what people are saying about it. And then we're going to figure out whether or not we should just walk away or whether we should just dive in deeper, particularly on the AI and robotics front, right? We are watching things go on with stablecoins, and we are looking at things going on with AI, and we're looking at all the wrong things. We were looking at all the wrong things at the top. My bad, right? I don't know how you could be faulted on that. There was so much hope and so much promise, right? I'm not gonna be hard on myself for getting excited at the top, and neither should you. However, you have to ask yourself, should you be buying into despair today? So we'll look at the news. We'll try to laugh. We'll try to laugh at what they're putting out. And then we'll do some TA. Most of like the 60-minute charts and like the tactical stuff, I don't know. They kind of show there's no real point and more downside from here. And even if there is, that could be a huge opportunity. Huge. All right. Let's look at who is here, who is left in the abyss. Thomas, SG, the first guy on the streams. Yeah, Vanessa, your base hurts. Yo. All right. Yo, Lopez. I know that's not how you say it. Mr. Lopez is here, I believe, from Portugal. Oh, no. Ariana, Old Smoky, and Tio, happy Friday from the crypto abyss. All right. Now, what do we got? What do we got this morning? Find out now 7. Crypto scam in the house. Oh my God. You know what? It's so bad. I think the doomsayers are running out. They're running out of stuff, I think. Why do boomers own everything? By their 30s, boomers owned 20% of the nation's wealth. Gen X, it's 8. Millennials, it's 3. And Gen Z is 0. Okay, so let's talk about this. So what did boomers do? Well, they did 3 things. The first thing they did was they got a Schwab account, right? And they got a 401k at work, and they bought every dip. Like, I'm sure some people panicked in 2008, justifiably so. But most of the time, boomers got wealthy by just hodling. They just hodled, right? In other words, stocks went up, and the more money they made in stocks, the mutual funds just reinvested the profits. That's what would happen. Like, stocks would go up and up and up and up and up, or sometimes they would have bonds, and, they would get additional interest, and then they would reinvest the interest, called compounding. So they just kept buying and they just never sold. Then the next thing they did was they bought housing. They bought housing when rates were at zero. So they got 3% 30-year mortgages. So basically the house was free. And then the value of the house doubled because post-COVID, you wound up with a construction problem that led to a housing bubble, which still exists today, right? So they had a parabolic on NVIDIA and tech stocks. They had a parabolic on housing. Okay. And then they probably went to work for tech companies, and the tech companies or the investment banks gave them stock as a part of their compensation. So like everyone thinks like Wall Street bonuses, oh, they're huge. They're millions of dollars. Yeah. You get about 1/3 of that in cash. The rest of it, they give you in stock. And they incentivize you to sit there and continue to work as the stocks go up and up and up. So the Fed printed and they owned all the right stuff. Now, the thing that's funny is that we now have an opportunity to do that trade again, except at warp speed as it relates to AI agents, crypto, Bitcoin, and the new thing I'm going to get on is robotics. Robotics, right? Everyone's going to have a robot. It's going to be a $10 trillion industry. Yeah, you're going to have labor market disruptions, but I guarantee you 5 years from now, the people who are getting disrupted, right, are going to look back at the people who could have invested in all this stuff basically at the bottom, particularly in crypto. Now, of course, Bitcoin is up, but like, stuff like ETH, Solana hasn't gone up in a year, right? You're going to get to invest in all these different things with massive stablecoin proliferation coming. So how did they get rich? They bought and hodled. They bought every dip, every despair. Charles Schwab said, ignore the noise. I worked there. They just hodled. That's all they did. They hodled. Okay, so how did I know the market was going to go down today? How did I know? Sitting there at work last night, and I'm like, oh, okay. A giant drone display for Bitcoin over Austin, Texas. And my comment is, please stop it. Please stop it. Please get crypto off Super Bowl ads, Vegas drones, Vegas domes, drone shows. It's like we press the blow up button. We press our own blow up button. Like the market bottoms when no one wants to touch it anymore. Now, I don't think Bitcoin is going below the cost of production, but I knew it was going lower. Like I saw this last night. I'm like, please stop it. Stop the excess. Now, let's talk about something good. So I used to work with this guy, and he's on his way to becoming famous, right? Because YouTubers can have him on their show and not feel any threat, right? Meanwhile, he's just like a think tank guy. He runs a money market. He's like a money management company, and he's like the thought leader at the top. So, YouTubers and Twitter guys can have him on his show. And, like he got 10,000 Twitter followers from doing one tweet about why you should own Bitcoin. Because I noticed, because the guy's a genius. He was essentially the original market update guy. He wrote the market update and what he would predict for the next day, like a day trading version of the market update at Morgan Stanley 25 years ago. Okay. Now he's a thought leader. So check this out. This guy just read Stripe's 2024 annual letter, and it's a must read for everyone in Bitcoin and crypto. So before we even get going, what's everyone in crypto looking at? Oh my God, tariffs. Oh my God, the market's down. Oh my God, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're doing. This is what he's doing. Now, the Stripe letter reveals how AI agents, and stablecoins are merging into a single unstoppable force for digital finance and payments. Okay, so before we go through all this, I'm going to give you the bottom line. Not only are they going to proliferate stablecoins as a way to buy treasuries, but the AI agents are going to start using those stable coins for warp speed commerce. This nonsense, it's 3 to 5 days, and yeah, we'll give you your money at the end of the month, and we'll take a 4% cut. No, that's over. Stable coins are going to explode. All right. Now, how much business did Stripe process last year? 1.4 trillion. So Stripe is now handling 1% of global GDP. Global GDP. Okay. That's a staggering number when that shows exponential growth, right, for digital payments in an AI world. So in short, AI companies are scaling revenue faster than ever. AI agents are now purchasing things, shopping, right? Stable coins are becoming the core financial infrastructure, right? Making stable coins the future of money. And then for decades, payments were optimized for humans. Now agents are transacting autonomously, requiring a new financial infrastructure. Okay. Stripe is already building something to optimize payments for machines. Dude, the machines are here. The machines are using crypto. Remember the stuff we used to say like a year ago? Like, what do you think machines are going to use? The dollar or Bitcoin? What do you think? Everyone's like, Bitcoin, let's buy it. No, it's happening. And everyone's like, let's talk about tariffs. It's crazy. Okay. They can initiate transactions, approve or decline purchases, manage financial decisions. Remember this? Like Bitcoin and DeFi, AI and DeFi. This is machine commerce at scale. Okay. I don't know. And there's all this stuff like Perplexity has AI commerce. And he goes on and on and on. Like Stripe calls stable coins room temperature superconductors for financial services. AI is exploding, and Jordy, as is Jordy, goes on and on and on, right? Then he says, in Why Bitcoin Matters, he said digital finance would merge software and money, unlocking unstoppable global network effects, according to a guy who wrote a book in 2014, basically called, I don't know, this was the guy who wrote Why Software Will Eat the World. Okay. Stripe's letter confirms that the future is now. AI agents, stable coins are accelerating the world that Bitcoin envisioned. The future is here, and we are all selling. Matter of fact, we are not only selling, and I am absolutely with you. We are so depressed. We're not just selling. We're so depressed. We're out. We're done. Like me and the Eagle King, like logged in this morning, like, his face, my face, we hit the thing, and we're just like, can you believe this? Can you believe it? Can you believe how discouraging this market is? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But good stuff is happening right before our eyes, and we're completely ignoring it. Completely. Okay. So, top 20 trending coins on CoinGecko. So Move, that's Uncle Sugar's blockchain solution. Okay. Sonic, DeFi, and the only thing that looks like AI here is Fartcoin. There's no AI, there's no robotics, there's nothing anywhere inside the top 20 cryptos. Nothing. Okay. So I'm sure Zero Hedge got a lot of attention with this. Game over for the United States. Okay. So this basically shows that, once the American population ages and everybody goes to collect on Medicare and Social Security, that, government debt has to go to, I don't know, 100 trillion, 50 trillion, whatever number you want to throw out there. Bottom line is stuff like this winds up on Elon Musk's desk. This stuff, like the Dalio stuff, the book about how we go broke, I guarantee you, as soon as that comes out, they're going to feed it into a chat bot, and everybody is going to be sitting around a war room table at the White House and at Doge going, oh my God, how do we prevent this? And there's only one answer to that. And I thought this to myself the other day. And I said this, and I'm going to say it again. They're just going to let everybody go. They're just going to let everybody go. And the only thing that's stopping them is they can't, and of course the government did this on purpose. They can't process people out because the whole way they process people out is all done on paper. So they can only do 8 to 10,000 people at a time. But they're going to do 4 million. There's 5 million people work for the government. They're going to keep 400,000. Like, I'm laying awake at night knowing that there's a giant army base north of where I live that has not talking about soldiers, apparently has 10,000 federal workers. So if they lay off 80% of that, that's 8,000 people running around this area looking for work. And they have to do it. And now here's what that means. You know what it means? I'm going to be straight with you. It means inflation goes to zero. Matter of fact, I'll take it one step further. I think listening to Powell now talking about inflation and not talking about employment or unemployment is akin to 4 years ago, where he was trying to tell you inflation was transitory and left rates at zero while it was obvious inflation was back. But it left rates at zero, literally at zero, and then had a panic tighten. Same thing. I mean, zero hedge, game over. And this is on Elon's desk. Forget about it. They're doing it. And that, the lower rates, the lower currency, or any type of crisis because they can't solve it fast enough. I just can't believe we're selling crypto, but whatever. Now, we're selling crypto because tariff-driven AI inflation boost is inevitable, says the Fed, as reported by Bloomberg. We're talking about tariffs, and AI agents are could wind up transacting trillions, or hundreds of billions by the time the year is over. Stripe is doing 1.4 trillion. And what happens when AI agents get involved in that? Okay, so gold is up only. Now, why is gold up only? I don't know. There could be a couple reasons, right? One, the dollar has to go lower. So this is the best way to get the dollar lower because they can't do it versus fiat. And we've all been, I don't know, we've been like destroyed. We've lost. We can't get our act together. And that's not just you. That's the whole market in general. Like, the government's supposed to buy it. Corporations are supposed to buy it. States were supposed to buy it. And the only people who are buying it are GameStop. And when they bought it, their stock went down. So it's all really going well. Now, there's all these theories out there that, the government's going to import all this gold. And then they're going to close the gold market and say gold is now valued at $10,000 an ounce. So we, the United States, China, Russia, whatever, we're all rich. Right. So our assets have gone up because it's all worth $10,000 and everybody turning their gold. The gold market is closed. It's up only every day. And Bitcoin eventually follows. Now, meanwhile, back at the crypto ranch, everyone's getting out. All loss realization in the Bitcoin market is currently coming from short-term holders who have owned it for less than, say, like 6 months. Recent buyers navigating volatile conditions. Meanwhile, long-term holders remain in profit and are the main source of profit taking. So I guess everyone's selling now. Everyone wants out. Okay. You can't stop people. And at this point, you probably can't stop the despair and the negativity. But in reality, how did people really get rich? They either bought or hodled through stuff like this. Okay, so here's Elon. And again, and just in case you think he's not doing it, right? This is not trotting out kids anymore. Supposedly, according to Eagle King, who watched this whole thing, there's like CEOs, top executives, look, they got the White House logo in the background. They're doing this. They want to smoke his dealerships. This is how they're responding. This is happening. Inflation is going to zero. It's going to zero. I mean, the Fed has a dual mandate. Like, they have an inflation unemployment trade-off. Back then, inflation was supposedly 2%, And they say inflation went to 6 or 7, but it was really at 30, honestly. Now you have unemployment at what, 3%? Where's it going? Well, I hope it's not going to 30%, but it could go to 7. It could go to 7 because corporations, governments, they just scary. But they're doing this. And there's an opportunity for everybody in crypto to make it happen. So here's Skynet scanning books. There's not enough information to feed Skynet. There isn't. Right. And they're going to do this at such a pace that the crypto universe is going to be able to invest in it. Like in equities, they've invented the AI trade. Like they said, oh, every stock's an AI stock. Let's ramp everything. And that's not right. But corporations have only got a 7% rate of AI adoption, as we talked about yesterday. And where do you see the chart of, say, like the big AI stocks in crypto? Fetch AI or artificial superintelligence token. Last week, week and a half, this down only. Down only. Okay, so here we go with the tariff disaster, whatever. Okay. Ferrari to increase prices by 10%. So Ferrari knows that everybody out there with money is going to panic. And if they were going to buy a car or they were going to buy a Benz or they're going to buy a Ferrari, they're going to walk in and they're going to market buy it. And there's more evidence, which I'm not going to go into, that importers in the United States of anything have been market buying literally everything. I know that's a lot of everythings, but like every importer is buying everything to the point where our what's called our trade deficit, which means what we export versus what we import. We as a country are market buying everything we can get our hands on that comes from overseas. Just absolute panic. And when everyone panics, it's wrong. It's wrong. And even if he does the tariffs, it's 11% of GDP. These guys are acting like we're lopping off half the economy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? There's the stuff that they're selling off this, like Bitcoin, like ETH, right? All the stuff that they're selling is all the stuff that you should be buying. Just like 2017 when we had a similar distraction. Okay, so we're done with the WTO, right? AI just had its biggest day ever in terms of stuff that's released, and that's fine. It's priced in equities. It's probably over discussed, but it's under traded in crypto. Okay, so the Chinese are not happy. Of course they're not, right? Of course they're not. They're reliant on exports, and anything that interrupts their exports could hurt their system. Okay. And of course, we have more negativity. It's like, okay, let's look at all the people in California who are in a state of distress. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi is running a hedge fund again. What is the media focused on? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are they focused on? It's all negativity when Jordy Visser is right and wants to go in the other direction. Okay, so we have an 85% chance of XRP ETF. It's funny, people were more bullish XRP when Gensler was around. Gensler is gone, and now no one cares. And they're doing this ETF and an IPO. Okay, 87% on XRP ETF. Like, seriously, the administration is a joke. Like, government said they were going to buy it, states said they were going to buy it, and the only people who bought it was GameStop. And we're flying drones with Bitcoin logos over Austin, Texas. And we wonder why the market's down. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these promises, and we got GameStop and a drone show. That's what we got. Okay, so Senator says Gensler was one of the stupidest people in government. Dude, I guarantee you this market keeps going lower. Crypto people are going to be like, you know what? We want Gensler back because the market did better under Gensler. I guarantee you're going to start hearing that on Dinwit Crypto Twitter. But the guy's right. They have new people in place. And I don't know. People are treating it as like a sell the fact thing. But the thing I keep coming back to is, yes, there's a huge disappointment trade. People didn't get their bag. The government was supposed to moon everyone's bags. That didn't happen. Huge disappointment trade. All coins crash. Huge disappointment trade. But the simple fact of the matter is some AI agent is going to start doing something in crypto. And then the government and the humans aren't going to be in the way. And then you're going to have a monster move. You're going to have a monster move because the agents are going to do it. We are obviously not capable of doing anything outside Fartcoin. Like that's the human, that's the human version. Like, oh, let's trade AI. Oh, let's do Fartcoin, okay? And the agents are going to come and go, oh, wait a minute. We can do, we can do payments transfers. We can do better memes. We can do utility privacy. We can stick John McAfee in a robot. John McAfee in a robot, like, antivirus, $3 million market cap. Where is it going to be when John McAfee's actually walking around on the planet talking to people? This robotics trade hasn't been done. We'll look at the robotics ETF. It's still below its 2021 high. Elon says 1 trillion is quite achievable. And you know what? This is going to get, I don't know, what word can I use? Right? They're going to go for 1 trillion and they're going to get to 1 trillion and they're going to say, we're going to do another trillion. Like, this will eventually be fun for them, I think. The only thing that stops this temporarily is the midterm election in 2 years, which are ironically, everyone is already talking about. In other words, what stops them from literally firing everybody, assuming they can process the paperwork? The midterm elections, right? The midterm elections. If everyone is like worried about losing their job because of what they're doing, people may vote the other way. And AOC and Bernie are already out there waiting for all these people to come and embrace their ideology. Smartly so. Genius play. People are probably wondering why the American left, or at least the most marketable portion of the American left, which is Bernie Sanders and AOC. AOC is, an attractive woman from the Bronx, I think, in New York, who was a bartender and ran against some established senator, a congressman in a primary, and got elected and won. She's incredibly marketable. Her ideology is a little interesting, but the American left is waiting for all these laid off workers. But in the event that people like this reduction in government spending, like, for example, if they cut $1 trillion, they'll probably send everybody a $5,000 stimmy check. And then they'll get a huge majority in Congress in 2 years, and then they'll do more. They'll do 3 trillion because they'll automate half of it. And we're selling AI. We're selling it. Not only are we selling it, we're selling Bitcoin. We're selling this whole system that benefits from everything these guys are doing. Like, wake up and walk in, like, go to your local bar, walk in, look at everybody and go, hey, you know what? I watched this YouTube show. Inflation's going to 0. And watch what people say. Watch. Walk in and go, hey, everybody, drinks are on me. Inflation's going to 0. I'm like, wow, this guy's drunk already. It's 4 p.m. This guy been drinking since noon. The Canadian Prime Minister says the era of close relations with the United States is over. It's funny. I'm old. I must be old. I always think of Canadians like, those are guys play hockey. I always say this, right? As the hockey players. No. Okay. These like globalists, socialists, Trudeau, weirdos. Yeah, I don't know. Should the orange man be picking on the Canadians? Probably not. It's probably not. I mean, I don't wish anything bad on Canadians. Absolutely not. I don't think any American would. But the fact of the matter is their ideology up there is crazy. And if you live in Canada or Europe or any of these places where they just don't care about you, they just don't care up there. They don't. They may not care down here either. But I mean, if you can't get an MRI with a brain tumor and it's $12 for a loaf of bread, why is everyone selling crypto? Okay, so here we have GameStop, right? Here we have the stupidest thing in the whole world, I think. The guys who are short this thing are so happy. They're like, oh my God, thank God it didn't go to 100. Thank God, right? They're borrowing money to buy Bitcoin. The only way that makes sense, the only way that makes sense is if they're going to have storefronts. And of course, because Cramer said it was a great idea, the stock immediately turned around and went to 0. And whoever handles Cramer's PR knew it. Like, okay, yeah, what's the dumbest thing we can say right now? Go GameStop. Kramer. A guy who made an industry out of being completely wrong. I don't even know what to say about that, right? JP Morgan predicts yield-bearing stablecoins could grow 6% to 50% of the market, driven by rising demand for interest-bearing assets. The government needs a bid for treasuries. AI agents need something for fast payments. If you massively proliferate stablecoins, like this is 2017 at an exponential global scale. 2017 was Bitcoin from 1K to 20K because they figured out a way to just print Tether. They just printed it somehow, right? And then boom, Bitcoin went to 20. There was zero reason for Bitcoin to go to 20 as far as I recall. I mean, the Fed was putting money in the system. Trump had a pro-business environment, 2017, but they just printed Tether and mooned Bitcoin. And then they rugged the Tether and everything just went down. They had a little ICO boom. They got a little speculative mania going on Ethereum, and that sort of made it go down even harder once that nonsense was over. But that's what they did with all the printed Tether. Now, what happens if that goes global and is run by machines? So Kramer loves the tariffs, right? It's just like, how stupid can we be? We'll go over what is really going on with the tariffs. Okay. The Tesla competing car in China that can charge really fast is getting free marketing on CNN. What a shock, right? Putin says the United States is serious about acquiring Greenland. Yeah, they are, dude. I worked in a startup where, we were trying to get the water that's in Greenland trading on the blockchain. Still brokenhearted over that, literally. Greenland has water. Like, forget about the strategic placement of Greenland on shipping lanes and the whole thing about the Arctic and all this stuff. Greenland has places where the name of the company was Blue Arctic. You could take a freaking jug, stand on a boat, take a jug, put the jug in the water, fill it up, and just drink it. The water was blue. Blue. That's incredible. So the strategic resources in Greenland, not to mention the strategic positioning of the country. And like I said, if assets minus liabilities equals equity or net worth. So if your L, the 37 trillion is too high, what do you have to do? You have to get more A. That's cash from tariffs. That's Canada. That's Greenland. The orange man grew up in real estate. A minus L equals E. Assets minus liabilities equals equity. L too high, got to get a bunch of A. Okay, so everyone who's tired of listening to Michael Saylor bull post this and have the market go down anyway, raise their hand. Everybody who's tired of listening to Michael Saylor bull post this market and have no one help them, raise their hand. Bitcoin is manifest destiny for the United States. My conversation with Cynthia Loomis at the DC Blockchain Summit. Okay, so here we all are sitting around. What are we doing exactly? Are we doing anything? Or are we just trying to talk up a market that, is just like a flaming ball of fire falling out of the sky, right? ETH can't rally. Solana can't rally. Like the whole market, like they don't understand that. I don't know. I think just bull posting Bitcoin, now, obviously it's not working, right? But they need some help. Or it's going to have the reverse effect. Like, oh, here's our drone show in Austin. It could get to a point where these characters open their mouth and the market goes down. Like, we can't figure this out as humans. Machines have to figure it out. I'm telling you. And machines are going to figure it out. They are. It's happening as we speak. Diversification is selling the winner to buy the loser, right? Right. MicroStrategy doing well, Nvidia doing well, Bitcoin doing well. Tesla, I think, is going to be a robotics play. So everyone who's selling Tesla now, over whatever reason they're selling Tesla, Kathy Wood, the broken clock, may be right twice a day. A broken clock is right twice a day. She may wind up being right if Tesla is a robotic stock and everyone's selling it because of auto tariffs. Like, remember the thing we started with? Like, how did people get rich? That's how they got rich. U.S. government just moved 100 Bitcoin. Ooh, we're moving Bitcoin around, dude. Oh my God. At a drone show, and it's like, we're moving 100 Bitcoin. They were supposed to be buying 200,000. It's like, dude, I have no problem serving Kool-Aid. I have no problem drinking Kool-Aid. But this is getting hard to look at. And maybe that's the bottom. Like, we just can't look at it anymore. It's like, dude, really? This is news? Okay, so in Japan, they just cured somebody by injecting stem cells. People who couldn't walk can now walk. That's cool. And what happens when the machines start accelerating stuff like this? That's what I want to know, right? ChatGPT got another upgrade. Better at following detailed instructions. I've seen that personally. Improved capability to tackle complex technical problems. Maybe, right? But, you know, it's you still got to wrestle with it, but it's better. Improved intuition and creativity. Like, the safety is off on this. Like, they just have to let all this stuff loose. And this guy at OpenAI, I don't know if that company's profitable, but they just got to get the machines out there doing something in crypto, or I don't know how we get off the mat otherwise. I don't. Crypto says SEC investigations have been shut down. Sell, I guess. You know, U.S. government transfers 97 Bitcoin. That's not news. French bank launches $27 million crypto fund. That is news because the government hates crypto. There's so much demand for crypto because, again, everyone's looking at gold. Everyone's looking at the dollar. Everyone's looking at fiat. Everyone is looking at these, you know, what these governments in Canada, UK, France. You're looking at what's happening. You're going, oh, my God, I got to get out of this system. I got to get out. What the crypto world will be listening to when Trump SEC pick testifies. I'm a little bit scared of this, right? This guy comes out and says, yeah, we already dropped the lawsuits. What do you want from us? What do you want? Okay, we'll get stablecoins going. Okay, we'll pass a bunch of regulations. Okay, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll get some privacy. That would be refreshing, right? They got to drop this whole tornado cash thing. Panama, $120 million liquidated from the market. Derivatives exchange is literally just taking your money. Okay. So how hurting are we for content? And I don't think it's bad to make fun of this, but I do think it's very interesting that if you look this, according to Grok, this is the robotics ETF that trades the highest volume. Now, obviously, this thing has spent, I don't know, 6 to 7 months trying to get through this level on Lux Algo, and it can't, right? So stock market, frothy, overvalued. You know, the AI trade has proliferated itself, but, you know, bots was trading at 27. Again, the stocks are in here. I have not done that yet. It's just the highest volume robot ETF. Okay. The current price is 30 and the 2018 high was 27. So this guy, Jordy Visser, thinks robots are 10 trillion. We talked about this yesterday, 10 trillion. And we're selling everything over tariffs. And robots are, of course, you know, that's AI. That's AI. Right? Now, one of the things that I'm going to say at the close is people got rich being bullish in environments like this. Now, you're not going to get immediate gratification. Or maybe you get immediate gratification in April because this is supposed to be a positive seasonal period. So you're getting, you know, the opportunity to grab stuff when it's down. And I forgot to do the TA. So when you look at Bitcoin on like a 60-minute chart, if I can get this to come up. Okay. So again, this is like the range, right? The DeMark system puts in a support point at 84. It hits 84 after hedge funds liquidate. They get your crypto and it goes back up. No sign of a bottom yet on a tactical ETH chart. Okay, you have a 9 bottom, a 13 and a 9 bottom on the 60-minute Solana chart. Again, the traders, right? The traders are getting everybody in this market, right? Everyone gets bullish. They drop it. It looks like it's going to break out. They drop it. If anything, this looks like the end of a trend, the end of like this little mini down move. XRP gets smacked. You have a 13 and a 9 bottom, right? If you go to, like, the 89-minute chart, Bitcoin, you got a lot of support at 84. You got a lot of looks algo buy signals down here, and you had a ton of money flowing into Bitcoin. You had a ton of money floating in once this thing went from 84 to 89, which is interesting, right? So yeah, this might have been a little excessive, but yeah, people were pouring into this thing. Like, where are they going to take Bitcoin? Like, why? You're going to take Bitcoin below the cost of production? I don't know. I don't think so. And altcoins are getting smacked because hedge funds probably had a terrible quarter, and they're just selling all the losers, which is everything, right? Everyone bought the high, and now they're like, all right, well, let's just puke it out at the lows, take the loss, and start over. And quarter end is probably the worst time to read charts because quarter end is all over the place. Big institutions are buying and selling for reasons we can't even fathom, just all balancing their books. And here we are, the little boat caught in the ocean. So we're a little boat caught in the big ocean of all assets, and we're even a little boat in the world of crypto. Because, big hedge funds move stuff around. They all lost money, so I don't know. What I do know is you got to be listening to like AI, robotics, stablecoins, and Bitcoin proliferation. The future is here, and we're selling it on a 2017 story of tariffs and distractions. Oh, yeah, and inflation's going to zero. That's not going to be pretty, but that's what's happening. It's going to zero, and so are rates, probably, right? Rates will probably wind up at 2% by the time this is all said and done, or 1%, because, everyone's worried about inflation, and most of what's going on with Doge probably creates some metric of deflation. Not to mention if AI makes a lot of things cheaper in the economy as it just explodes, right? XRP lowers transaction costs. AI could start using XRP. That's one example. Go to a bar, go to a diner, sit there, look at everybody and go, you know what? I watched the show and inflation's going to zero, and I'm buying Bitcoin even though they're selling it with reckless abandon, and see what people say. That's the market update for today. We will see you on Monday.